If you've been on the roads recently, then you'll notice that utes are slowly taking over. One of those is the Mitsubishi Triton, which has always sold well, thanks to its combination of good payload and towing capability, matched with an affordable entry price point. But nowadays, people want more from their utes, so enter the 2019 refreshed Triton. The biggest difference is the styling. Designed to give a more muscular appearance, the front end has been lifted to create a more squared-off look, whilst adopting the now familiar dynamic shield grille. And I'll just say it, I think it's the best iteration of it yet on their models, and overall the car is a huge improvement looks-wise over the last model. It integrates into the slim LED headlights, whilst in the back there are new brake lights with LED light bars. New alloy wheels round out the changes, whilst approach and departure angles have also been improved. One big note is the inclusion of active safety features. All but the base model gets autonomous emergency braking with forward collision warning and lane departure warning, whilst our GLS trim adds blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, a radar system to prevent misacceleration, and automatic high beams. No other ute on sale can match the Triton right now in terms of safety at the time of recording. Climbing on board, as it's a facelift, there's not too many drastic changes inside. They've added some soft stuff with this knee padding and contrasting white stitching, same on the door card. But the biggest change is first with this new steering wheel. It's leather wrapped on our trim, and whilst this looks like stitching, on closer inspection it's just molded into the plastic, but it gives it a nice effect. On the left, controls for media, and on the right, cruise control. There's also paddle shifters. The second biggest change is the addition of this 7-inch infotainment system. Now, to get this head unit, you need to go for the GLX Plus and above. You just go for the standard GLX model, you get a 6.1-inch display audio system. With this system, all the sources you'd expect to hear from AM and FM radio and also digital radio, Bluetooth phone connectivity with streaming, and if you connect a compatible smartphone, there's Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard as well. The system is pretty straightforward to use, although sometimes switching menus when you're swiping can get a little bit finicky. Seems to be working okay now. Below are the controls for the climate. Pretty stock standard stuff, dual zone, fan speed and 1 push automatic. Controls for the sonar and blind spot monitoring. 2 USB ports, 1 HDMI port and an additional 12-volt power outlet. Shifter, stock standard from park all the way to drive. There's also a Tiptronic. And all 4-wheel drive models get the Super Select 2 system. So 2 high means the rear wheels are driven by an open differential. Change it into 4 high, so that goes 4-wheel drive, still with an open differential, so all the wheels operate independently. I'll try to get it out of the glare so you can see. Then 4 HLC stands for 4 high with a locked center differential, so all 4 wheels get the same amount of power from the engine, best for off-road conditions and above 30 kilometers an hour. And push rotate one more is 4 LLC, so 4 low range with a locked differential. So that's best for sand, snow or rocky conditions under 30 kilometers an hour. When you change the drive modes, there's also a little graphic to show you what's going on at any given time. And below that, 2 cup holders and a standard manual handbrake. The center armrest is well padded and stitched and opens to reveal quite a surprisingly deep space. You fit quite a bit in there. There's also an additional 12-volt power outlet. Above the driver, sun visors, although sadly they don't extend. This turns on the fan for the rear passengers, 2 map lights and a sunglasses holder. Although on our model there's some fit and finish issues there. Also, for those regular viewers, you know I'm 6'3" or 190 centimeters, and this driver's seat can still go quite far back, so if you're taller than me, you should be just fine. So let's see how much space is in the back. In the back, with this seat set for my driving position, I still have enough knee room and enough toe room, which is very impressive. The only thing that's lacking is headroom. As you can see, my head very much does hit the top of the roof. So if you're under 6 foot, you should be okay, but if you're taller than that, you might not want to take the back seats for a long journey. There are 2 USB ports and a storage cubby. There's also bottle holders in the doors. 2 map pockets. On top, rear passengers can control their own fan speed with the air coming out from these roof vents. 2 ISOFIX mounting points, 2 on each side of the outboard seats.
And there's also a center armrest with 2 more cup holders.
The tray bed measures 1520mm in length, 1470mm in width, and 475mm in height for the dual cab model, whilst payload actually comes down slightly over the outgoing model. Single cabs can hold 1,284 kilos, while dual cabs are down to 1,093 kilos. Our car also has the soft tonneau cover, which is a $725 option.
Alright, let's go for a quick spin. So the engine on this facelifted model is a straight carryover from the one before, so that's the same 2.4 litre turbocharged diesel engine. That's good for 133 kilowatts of power, or 180 horsepower, and 430 newton meters of torque, or 317 foot-pounds, which gives a towing rating of 3.1 tons. Now, in terms of ride comfort, Mitsubishi say that on the higher end models they've settled with the rear dampers. They've made them wider, and that's theoretically supposed to increase comfort, which so far it's not that bad. It doesn't crash over bumps, it doesn't bounce around too much, although they are leaf springs, and this is a ute which is designed to carry load, so there's only so much you can do. Mitsubishi have tried to target the Triton to 2 main buyers. So you've got the proper workhorse people that buy the ute, and that's for the GLX and the GLX Plus models. And for instance, they get vinyl floors, which is almost hose downable. And then you've got these 2 models, which is a GLS and GLS Premium, and they're designed for your more lifestyle buyers, if you'd say them, or people who use these utes as family runabouts. There's also added refinement in the engine as well. The 2.4 turbo doesn't sound as rough as it did before. And it almost feels like you're just driving a normal car instead of a ute. Whether that's good, it's up to you. I know quite a few ute owners that want the whole experience, but it does make the car a lot more livable. What I do notice is that the steering ratio is a bit slower than what you would expect. So if you're coming from a normal car, you find yourself turning the steering wheel around corners more than you would in a traditional car. I think this setup is more designed for off-road drivers, where you wouldn't want such a quick ratio, but it's just something to get used to. Right, we're at an intersection. We'll try to do an acceleration test. Here we go. A bit of wheel spin from the back. Not bad. Keep in mind it's only just me and there's no payload inside the car. There's a bit of turbo lag, as you'd expect from a relatively small displacement turbo, but once it gets going, it's quite quick. Just have to be careful because this road's only 60. Apply the pedal now, a bit of delay, and it picks up. And that's our first look at the 2019 facelifted Triton. When it's available, we'll try to get the car in for a full review. But until then, drive safe, and I'll see you in the next video.